All right, still with us, we have criminal defense attorney and former LA County prosecutor Josh Ritter joining us from LA. So Josh, a really interesting discussion that we've been hearing. You know, obviously the defense is trying really hard to get Bo Dukes on the stand, and they admit he's probably going to plead the fifth when it comes to any substantive questions, but they're hoping they can question him about this ugly criminal history that he has here. Obviously, the prosecutors don't want that in. Why is that? What is the significance of all this?
Yeah, a lot to unpack here, and I'll admit I'm not an expert on Georgia common law, but I can speak to some of the things that's happening here. First, we're dealing with the Fifth and Sixth Amendments, right? The Fifth Amendment has to do with your right to not have to give testimony against yourself. So Bo is going to come in, and if they ask him about any kind of involvement in this case, he can say, I plead the Fifth Amendment, meaning I don't want to talk about anything that could even possibly get me implicated criminally, okay? Then we have the Sixth Amendment Confrontation Clause, which says that you, and this is now speaking to Ryan, has the ability to confront and cross-examine any witness presented against you. What his defense attorneys are trying to say is that essentially Bo has done that already by pointing the finger at him. And so I should be able to cross-examine him. I should be able to put him onto the stand and cross-examine him. Now, I saw what the judge did here. I think he kind of split the baby to some extent. But I'm not a big fan of what's taking place, because really what they're doing is they're turning the courtroom into theater. This isn't really about evidence. The evidence would be if he actually testified and they cross-examined him. If that were to happen and he were to testify and the defense team were able to cross-examine, fine. That's all fair game. But to bring someone in, and the prosecutor kept on talking about this, just to parade them in to take the Fifth Amendment, that's not evidence, and the judge has already acknowledged that and says that he'll instruct the jury, but that bell has already been rung. And that bell is that they're going to now assume this person's involvement, and that if he's up there taking the Fifth, and we've heard whisperings all about Bo Dukes, and he goes up there and take the Fifth, they're going to assume, oh, he must have been involved and he must have done it. And that's not really evidence. That's a bunch of conjecture on the part of the jury, and that's why I'm not a super huge fan of where the judge came out on this.
But certainly that is what the defense is hoping that they'll do, and is that the jury will assume actually it's that guy. It's Bo Dukes who killed her, not the guy that we're defending, Ryan Duke here. And by the way, really ugly criminal history that we're talking about, obviously convicted of making a false statement in Wilcox County, and also it has a pending case in Ben Hill County concealing the death of another, and then in Houston County a pending case involving rape and aggravated sodomy, false imprisonment, firearm possession by a felon. So certainly I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the idea here by the defense is broaden the circle of suspicion, and you know, there's some finger pointing going on.
Yeah, that's the other kind of game that's being played here, is usually when you bring in somebody's prior criminal history, you're trying to attack their credibility. You're trying to say, hey, everything you've just testified to, the jury should be able to call into question, because isn't it true you committed such and such a crime? And isn't it true you committed this crime and this felony? And therefore we shouldn't believe you. They're not exactly trying to do that here. What they're trying to do is show to the jury what a bad, awful man he is. Look at your entire criminal history. Let's have you admit to that. And then, by the way, aren't you the one who actually killed Tara? And then he'll say, well, I plead the Fifth. And that's that kind of, you know, that gotcha moment that they're hoping for to orchestrate here. And so that's why I think the judge, you know, I don't like second-guessing judges here. We're just trying to call balls and strikes. But I think the judge really is opening himself up to some problems with the jury and the assumptions they're going to make.
All right, thank you so much, Josh Ritter, for your insight and analysis. Still ahead, coming up, one of the stars of the hit docuseries Tiger King busted by the FBI. We explain the serious crimes he's now charged with next on Court TV Live.